Welcome to the Made in the Mist podcast, the podcast for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. Now please welcome your hosts, Emma and Dan.
Welcome everybody to another amazing episode of the Made in the Mist podcast, the podcast for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs, where we interview guests from Niagara Falls that are entrepreneurs who have brought their business to Niagara Falls and really learned their tips and tricks and their secret sauce to success. Today we have another amazing guest on our show today, Mr. Brandon Mimms. A little disclaimer, I know Brandon Mimms from quite a while ago. I used to coach him soccer, and then after went our separate ways. He went to high school. I was graduating high school at the time. And then I found out through a mutual friend, Matt Garashi, who's been on this show before, that Brandon Mimms has just exploded on the scene, more into the social media, more of an influencer, but on a global scale. So really, really excited to have him here, really happy to have him here, and we're so happy that you agreed to be on the show. So Mr. Brandon Mimms, I want you to kind of introduce yourself, what you do right now, and how you kind of got into the social media game.
Yeah. Like you said, my name's Brandon Mimms, born and raised in Niagara Falls, Ontario, and I've been in the social media world for over 13 years. And
wow,
yeah, back in the day in high school, it was like Twitter was huge, so we would and like all the teachers and like adults and stuff like that would tell you like be very careful of what you post on social media and like drill that right into your head type thing.
Your employer will find you on social media, not hire you.
Yeah, so I had my personal account that I never did any posting, and then I made up a theme page type thing, and it was actually the image I used was my girlfriend at the time, now wife. So I was pretending to be a female on the page and just post relatables.
Oh, wow.
Meme related, like funny stuff that I thought was funny back then. And just with that page, I started posting, and then a couple of tweets went viral, and next thing you know, I was at 100,000 followers. And
what was the viral tweet?
I have no idea.
You don't remember what it was back
no
then.
idea.
It was
didn't print it off or frame it on the wall or anything.
I mean, come on,
But I remember the impressions. It got like over 50 million impressions.
Come on, wow.
On it. So
it was probably something simple like Carpe Diem or something from Tumblr.
Oh yeah, it was classic.
But, I mean, that was 13 years ago. So
yeah.
to reach that many followers that long ago, I mean, it almost seems like social media was just becoming a thing back then. So how were you able to get something to be viral? You know what I mean? Because obviously everybody wants to have that viral post one time or another in their life too. So did you do anything to make it happen? Was it just, the people that were following you that reshared it? How did that work?
Back then it was just trial and error.
Okay.
And I was just being consistent and posting multiple times a day at a certain time every day, and everything was like on the point, and then it just kind of one of them hit, and then all of them started hitting, and that page ended up growing to like 3-4 million followers.
Come on. What was the handle on that page?
Called Blue Poison.
Blue Poison.
So that was just the relatable content. Yep. Okay.
That's why we chose blue today. We actually knew that backstory, so we put it in here for you.
It was a random username. Like it wasn't anything special or anything like that. And then it just kind of.
and that's how you just started, and that's how you knew that.
Well, once it hit 100,000 followers, like I was just doing it as passion, like for fun and all that type of stuff, and then brands started reaching out and asking to buy advertisement spots on the page.
But like, so just to get the story straight here, you didn't actually create the content; you just reposted content.
Yeah. I just found like bigger pages and found Twitter back then. It wasn't pictures or anything. Like it was just straight text. Right?
Yes. So, was it 40 characters at the time or whatever it was?
140.
140. Yeah, at the time. Yeah. Wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. So and that's kind of what I did. I even like Googled like, girly whatever like
girly memes,
like stuff like that, and I was on Google and just copy and paste and put it on Twitter, and it just kind of went, and like I said, 100,000 followers. This brand started reaching out asking to buy ad spots on the page, and I'm like, oh cool, like yeah sure, give me $20.
Well, I mean,
right? Not knowing like the value of that, and then it kept going and going, and
wow. I mean, I always knew you had it, the brand in you because it's in your name, Brandon.
There you go.
But, no, but that's a fantastic. And I apologize, I forgot to introduce my lovely co-host here, Emma. I was just so excited to really hear how Brandon started out here. So of course, Emma, our co-host here on the Made in the Mist podcast, I know she has a lot of questions to ask you. So I'll hand it off to her right now.
Just here to tag along. I wanted to ask. So you started that page, and how old were you when that page was really taking off? Like when, because of course have you worked in social media before? Have you worked in marketing? Did you just have an interest in it? It was the trending thing.
I was probably like 16, 17.
Yeah.
Around that age is when I started that page. And then
Just figuring out what to do with your life, eh?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Just kind of doing it for fun, like I said. And then.
Did that help you land a job outside of high school? Like when you graduated high school, what came next?
I had basically in the summer months, I was working for a company called Baffin. It's a footwear and apparel company. Yes. And I was like working in like the factories.
Oh, no way.
And like putting the product together and all that. And then grade 12 had a co-op opportunity, like an all-day co-op opportunity. So I asked if I can do it in the marketing department, and then did it there. And then I showed them like, look what I did on Twitter. And they're like, oh, wow, this is unbelievable. And then they ended up hiring me full time to continue to run all their social media while I went back to school.
Oh, come on. Wow. Yeah. And was that a high school co-op? Or was
high school co-op.
Wow.
To start. And then where did you continue your education?
Niagara College.
Okay. NC State. There we go.
Business administration marketing program?
Sales and marketing. I was there for 2 years, and then I got asked to do their 3-year marketing and finish it in 1 year, so I got exempt all the way to the third year. And,
wow. And you were that special, eh?
I guess so.
Right from the start. So why Twitter? I mean, back in high school, you got to assume that, Instagram and Facebook were the most popular amongst, the students there. And then you went to Twitter. So, what made you choose Twitter? What made you think that you had the best chance of success with Twitter? Or was it just by luck?
Back then, it was definitely by luck. Instagram didn't come big until around I started Twitter. Like Twitter was out before, so yes. I was already on that platform and mastering that, and then soon after I took over Instagram as well.
Wow. And then so you had your co-op opportunities, you went to college, expedited college degree, and then what did you decide? What was your light bulb moment to say, I have a business here, I have the opportunity to really grow something for myself?
Honestly, probably like 4 years ago. So I went back to that job and worked in the marketing department and grew within the marketing department and just, kept doing it. And then I was doing everything else, like the social media stuff on the side. And then it got to a point where I was making more money on the side than doing, the 9 to 5. And then, in my head, I told myself I got to hold on to this 9 to 5 as long as possible. And then finally did the switch and went full time into my own.
Scary opportunity because that's something that our founders and entrepreneurs that we work with and that we interview a lot of times too is finding that right moment to make that leap. It's always the most difficult thing is letting go of something secure, because for just a chance, right? So can you just tell us that experience for you and what made you make that decision to say, no, this is the right time?
The nicest way possible. I started getting toxic.
Okay. Yeah.
So definitely a good time to start rethinking your choices and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Great company, all that. Nothing like I don't want to say anything too negative about it, but the environment changes and you start noticing it's your time to step away type thing. So that was the thing. But the day that it happened, I couldn't sleep for a week. I was sweating.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It was like the hardest thing ever. And then 3-4 months after, I'm like, I wish I did that years ago, 6-7 years ago. I would have been, in a whole different level. If everything was played out right, I'd probably actually be retired right now.
Well, I know you're close to it, and that's something that there's always the right time and the right place for it. So maybe you needed to experience perhaps a toxic culture or something like that to say, I really need to be on my own and kind of pave my own path, which is fantastic. Now, in earlier conversations with you, you mentioned that you got a couple of usernames that you were able to hold on to, let them build their value, and you you said it. I want to rephrase or paraphrase your words. You said it was digital real estate.
Yep.
That's what you kind of. So can you talk about this digital real estate and how you got these usernames, held on to them, and then flipped them, if you will, like a house?
Yeah. I think like the whole NFT space in general and like the digital art and all that, that's like massive. And
Absolutely.
like obviously, cryptocurrency has took a dip in that.
Just a
So like
little
people
bit.
don't people don't talk about it as much, but the NFT space is still massive. There's still stuff like that. And once that started like, coming up, like people started realizing, oh wow, like owning an Instagram page or an Instagram username, actually has tons of value.
Absolutely.
Like especially in like the domain space, like some of these domains, like premium domains, are selling for millions on millions of dollars. And
It's crazy.
Yeah. So it's like the same thing now in the social media space. It's like owning premium usernames and stuff like that is like huge.
Yeah. So it's almost like those people during the .com era, they just bought a whole bunch of different websites. Now people are doing that the same with usernames. They're just, creating pages that have a bunch of different usernames, different pages.
Yep.
That's
Was your strategy to have as many as possible, or were you more calculated of like being strategic with putting time and energy in just a select few?
At one point with Instagram, not so much usernames, but I used to own over 50 million followers across my network.
Wow.
So
big.
that's a lot of pages.
I don't even know that many people. 50 million.
There you go.
Wow.
But so at one point I used to own, like I said, 50 million followers just on Instagram, right?
Wow.
So it's it definitely gets crazy and hectic, especially I'm a one-man team.
Yeah, so because did you ever have interns even or any staff or help?
I tried to bring on two different individuals, like separate type thing, and it's very hard to teach someone that what I know and like I know that I have to post at this time, and I know like back in the day like these hashtags worked and which hashtags worked or which ones and stuff like that. So it's hard to teach someone that. Like I tried.
Sure.
I tried to teach, and it's more so like if I own the page, so I'm gonna give it 110%, right?
But they don't.
Yeah. So and then you hire an employee, they're gonna give you 70%,
Of course.
right? And like all their time, they ran out of time, they couldn't do the post, and it's like,
Come on. Yeah. Exactly.
yeah. So it's like,
So you were an all-in entrepreneur, all in. This was all you. Your name and your reputation was behind it, and
Yep.
yeah, you were the one fueling it. So that's awesome.
How'd you know? How'd you know, like in high school, that this was going to be a thing? How'd you know? Say, what? I want to get on Twitter. I want to start, hoarding usernames. I want to start posting memes. How'd you know? Because you said it's hard to teach somebody, but obviously you had to learn from somewhere. So where did you learn from, and how'd you know that this was going to be an opportunity for you?
there back in the day there was like obviously I had to grow that one account, and then from there I got access to an exclusive group chat where other people just like me around the world, they're creating pages.
Oh wow.
And that, and people were giving out basically free advice of how to do certain things and
Oh, wow.
that. So still in that group chat today, 13 years later. So it's there's over 1,000 of us in there.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow. So
so
very
it's-
exclusive.
Yeah, it's crazy world. A lot of messages.
Yeah. That's fantastic. And I know that you've spent a lot of time traveling and now working for a bunch of companies, doing traveling, doing some video content, do some other posts and stuff like that too. Can you speak on some of that experience?
Yeah. So when just before COVID started, I picked up a very premium username in the travel industry. Can't say the username. I can tell you after.
Yeah, exactly.
But I can't
Find
say
it in the comments. I'm just joking.
but a very clean username, and so from there, within 13 months, I grew it from 0 to 1.2 million followers.
Oh, wow.
So
And how'd you grow that? Like, as posting
Can you
content?
sum it up? Yeah.
yeah, it's just like you got to be consistent, and a lot of things that people don't understand is you have to be social on social media platforms.
Yeah, like responding to comments.
Engagement.
Engagements, and
Yes.
it's not like Instagram knows like if you're just adding an emoji, like they don't count that.
Oh.
Right, you have to be like it's certain amount of words. Like usually it's like 5 words now. It's like now that counts as a comment. then you can
Oh.
add an emoji type thing,
Oh,
right?
see,
So it's
I'm
like
an emoji guy. I'm always just throwing
so it's
emojis,
like the fire emoji type
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Always fires claps and
Yeah.
hallelujah.
Oh yeah, I do
course.
it too. But like that like stuff like that. But even like DMs, like they count that as well. So
Oh, wow.
answering DMs and responding to people and watching like how many of them you actually delete.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's so like
there's an art and a science behind it.
oh yeah, it's all about the algorithm, right?
Yes.
You have to be very social, like an hour before you post. Then you do the post, and then you continue to be social and responding for the next hour, and then throughout the day.
Oh, wow. So it's like, I mean, it's a 24-hour job essentially, right?
I mean, like you can do it in your work hours type thing, but
Yes.
you got to be pretty on top of it. Like a lot of companies now still think, and I think I posted this on LinkedIn like 2 days ago, where it's like a lot of companies are trying to hire one person to handle like all of their social media and stuff like that, and that's like the worst thing you can do.
No, you need a team.
And, like social media now is so broad.
Oh,
like it's
absolutely.
like just like even just like you like some of the companies like I work with, they have someone strictly just for TikTok.
Wow.
And then they have like an engagement type officer that handles all the engagements for just TikTok. And then it's like, so they have like teams of like 10 plus people.
Oh, absolutely. It's a whole marketing team, right?
Yeah.
Social media.
Divide and conquer, and then also you have more voices, more diversity, more people to relate to and engage with, like student population, older population. There's so many different demographics that even one business would want to hit. But so how did you have time for all of that in between with your travel vlogging and your travel marketing then too?
Well, so with the travel page that I had, I was taking content for these hotels that was being advertised on my personal pages, like mine and my wife's personal pages, and then the travel page, and then they wanted like obviously the content for their social media platforms, and
Wow.
like we got reached out saying like, hey, can we use this for our like catalog or for our website and all that type of stuff as well. So it's
Yeah.
crazy world. Yeah.
Well, it's still relatively new. And there's a lot of people don't know about it too. You know what I mean? And a lot of businesses, that's their main demographic. That's what they're reaching out to. That's their main channel to reach out to people. It's no more, physical print. I mean, radio commercials, TV commercials are kind of fading. It's all about the social media marketing.
Some of the biggest brands in the world only have social media marketing. They don't touch anything else. Like Fashion Nova, like they're strictly social media, and they're one of the biggest like fashion brands out there, like in following.
Wow.
Even the hotel space, like I can't think of like the names of the hotels, but there's a hotel in Mykonos,
Yes.
and they got like 3 million followers, or like 2-3 million followers, and it's like all the celebrities go there.
Yeah.
Because of their following, how reputable they are, and they only do social media.
Well, I mean, even a lot of celebrities, I mean, that's how they get even more famous is just through social media. So no more Trivago commercials, you're saying? Wasn't that affected no more that guy, Trivago, no?
No, definitely not. It's crazy.
Besides your own handles and the domains that you own, do you do this for anyone? Do you do social media management for other brands and companies?
I have. I definitely helped out a lot of brands, a lot of the bigger brands per se.
Can you name any of the brands you've ever
Or
worked
just like
with?
your favorite projects even?
Yeah.
I've worked with like AliExpress,
Wow.
all the like travel, like the Raffles hotels, which is like massive. SLS hotels is like another huge chain. Atlantis, Bahamas.
Wow.
They're like they love us.
Yeah, absolutely.
They every time I go on a lot of cruises, and it always lands in Nassau, Bahamas, and I'll message like the VP of marketing, and be like, hey, we're coming. We got like 12 people. Can you hook us up? And they always give us free day passes. And
I think we should shotgun the next trip to the Bahamas here too.
Yeah, we'll come. We'll be a part of your vlog team. We're really handy. Sick. We'll all work the sound. Dan will do the camera.
I'm just here for the dad jokes.
Yeah, perfect. I need that.
Everybody does.
But I'm trying to think of some other brands I can say.
I'm sure there's a lot that you can't, right?
Yeah, I've worked with like Universal Music.
Oh wow.
I've worked with them. Zach Hyman of the Edmonton Oilers.
Wow.
He started a gaming esports gaming, and they brought me on board to grow their social media platform. And
Wow.
so
That's amazing. So I mean, what's next for you? You know, because obviously now you have a wife and kids, and you have a couple of other projects on the go too. So how do you? I mean, one thing that really struck out is that you said earlier is that you need a whole social media team, but you seem to be doing a lot of the work of the whole team on your own. Is that sustainable?
Definitely not sustainable. I've been doing it for a long time, so it's definitely a lot of wear and tear for sure.
What's your vision for like what you're building then? Like, what would you say your vision is?
I think for me is there's a few more usernames out there, in especially on Instagram that I want to figure out how to obtain.
Bigger audience?
Yeah, more so just the username and build up those audience.
So is that what you do? Do you purchase some usernames and just build it up and like almost like flipping a house, right?
Yeah, there's multiple different ways of going about it because there's a lot of usernames that are considered inactive.
Okay.
So then I have connections within different social media platforms with like high executives that, I work out something with them that releases the username to me so that I can build an audience. Because in the end, they don't want inactive pages on there, and especially with a premium username. Like I can say this one. I used to own @USA on Instagram.
Wow.
That I sold that two weeks ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that was like a big deal, crazy. A lot of going back and forth, but
that's amazing. That's quite a big username.
A Canadian owning a whole country that doesn't even live there.
Hey, go Canada! There you go. Yeah, exactly. So, but how did you acquire @USA?
It was inactive for like since 2010.
Wow.
And then I've owned it for like 5-6 years. So I was mainly sitting on it for a long time because I was working on a lot of other projects and. 5-6 years ago, that's when I had like over 50 million followers on Instagram. So I was, focusing on that. And then it started growing organically without even posting just because of how premium the username is.
And that was just by like tourists or locals just posting @USA?
A little bit of both. I was with the US page, I was getting a lot of athletes, a lot of verified people following as well. Like a lot of people, like the Olympics come along and then everyone was following the page and hoping that I would post, Olympic related updates and stuff like that.
Yep.
But yeah.
Did you?
No. I kept it a lot of scenery type stuff. Keep it a lot of PG.
Oh, yes. Just pictures of the US, eh?
Yeah. Well, lately it was a lot of reels because reels obviously do better now. And
really?
So you do all this content from home, like from your home base pretty much.
Yep.
And so
I can be anywhere in the world.
Yeah. So you did most of it building in Niagara Falls.
Yep.
So I want to talk about some of the advantage to that. If, even with like raising your family and staying close to friends, like what were some of the advantages of being in Niagara Falls?
Some advantages. Well, obviously, friends and family being close by is always a key. It was definitely nice traveling.
Absolutely.
But we were traveling so much that we were like, okay, it's time to get rid of this thing and stay home more. And, I have a 2.5-year-old at home and another one on the way. So
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So it's now trying to, spread the roots here.
Yeah, absolutely. And and I know nowadays and what COVID has kind of taught us that you can really grow a business anywhere in the world. Obviously, as long as you have a good internet connection, you can make it anywhere. So what I wanted, you traveled the world and you kept your home base, Niagara Falls, and friends and family aside, why else would you say that Niagara Falls is an ideal place to potentially grow a business?
I think just like tourism out this way, there's a lot of opportunity. A lot of people are moving to Niagara Falls now. So like there's depending on what your business is, like if it's a storefront type thing, like there's a lot more people coming in or a restaurant type thing. So it's like a lot more opportunities for that, for like people coming in and like actually seeing, enjoying whatever you're offering type thing. I think that's definitely a huge opportunity.
Yeah, it is a huge advantage too. I know, another thing that comes to mind is just proximity to a lot of the major cities. But sorry, Emma, I interrupted you. I know you had a couple more questions.
No, just wanted to dive in a little bit more into Niagara. Obviously here, like we are at the Innovation Hub and we support entrepreneurs in Niagara Falls. So even just sitting in our podcast studio and using these as resources, if at any time, if you even think of any like resources or other things that the Innovation Hub, could offer to entrepreneurs, even like yourself, if you wanted to include that in probably our last segment with your 5 top tips and tricks. If you wanted to think of anything that would benefit entrepreneurs for them to know, like to let you share away.
Yeah. Five tips.
Let's see the Brandon Mimms top 5 tips.
Top 5 tips. This is my go-to is a lot of people come to me like, I don't know where to start, what to do type thing. And then I literally just say, just do it.
Just start.
The Nike slogan type thing. And it's like, it's literally true. Like people are out there thinking like, oh, I need like for social media, especially like you need the highest quality camera gear, you need all this type of stuff, and it's like the most viral videos are filmed on an iPhone.
Well, isn't that what you use primarily?
Strictly iPhone.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't use some of the hotel videos I've seen. A couple is just like, wow, it looks like it's professionally done by a whole team.
Yeah, no, just an iPhone and one
a gimlet.
Sturdy. Yeah, but I think that's definitely the biggest tip I tell a lot of individuals that are trying to get into any space, but definitely in the social media space.
Absolutely. Now, the social media space has, a lot of different hours of work. So when you were growing your brands up and growing your pages, did you have to put in awkward hours because you were dealing with different people across the globe, or was it, pretty standard 9 to 5 type of workday for you?
No, it was definitely all over for sure.
Yes.
What I tell people now is the best time when I post is like 7 a.m.
Okay.
That's like the best time to post, just because all the time difference, especially with me with multiple different accounts and like at USA, like there was people all over Europe following. There was people in Australia, Canada, and all the different time zones within the US. And so 7 a.m. is like the best time to post because one, no one else is posting.
Yes.
So you'll be the very first one, you'll be up there,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Depending on how the algorithm works in your favor, you'll be one of the first ones up there. And then most companies and agencies will probably, they start at 9 a.m. and then they, by the time they actually post, it might be like 12 o'clock. And
like lunchtime, yeah.
Yeah, and that's like probably the worst time to post.
It's overpopulated. Everybody's posting. Yeah.
So it's like, that's why I tell people like 7 a.m. because I tell people this and I open it up because most people don't do it.
Yeah.
So,
you wake up early if you're posting at 7.
Yeah, but it's literally the best time. It's when majority of my stuff go viral is at that early in the morning and obviously be engaging before and after.
So do you use a scheduler for your posting, or do you just
no everything has to be manual. If you do anything third party is like damaging your page.
It affects the algorithm.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, they'll know like Instagram, Facebook, they know it comes from a third party and that does boost you down. Yeah.
Well, that's
the worst thing.
They like authentic, original thoughts and
absolutely.
They don't even Instagram announced or there's a scheduling tool within Instagram now and like I tell people stay away from that. That's like the worst thing to use because they want you.
They just put you in the queue really more with that. It's
Well, they want you to be engaged on the app, right?
Yeah, they make more money the longer you're on the app.
Of course.
Right? That's why you got to stay on with
you're the product,
app.
right?
Yeah. So.
So I again, I think you gave your number one tip there of just do it, but related to social media, what are some of the, you said posting at 7 a.m. What other tips and tricks can you do? Kind of not all your secret, sauce, but some of the things that really made you stand out across other people. Whether it was doing reels like you mentioned that obviously garner more attention.
Some of those hashtags you said that worked and that some don't.
Yeah, hashtags are like completely out on all platforms.
Yeah, nobody uses hashtags anymore.
Don't use them at all type thing.
So what's the newest thing to get more attention?
All these social media platforms are high SEO now.
Okay.
So telling a story within the caption is like the key now.
Okay.
So literally having paragraphs, and the longer someone's on that post reading, the better the algorithm will pick that up and shoot that out to more people.
Oh wow! So even if they
it's like they don't even have to like it, comment, share, save it anymore. It's like they want them on the app as long as possible. So having a huge story like I mean, you can't just put like Marietta Little Lamb type thing. Like it has to be
Engaging.
related.
Unique content
Yeah,
they
yeah.
want.
But
yeah.
almost, maybe even splitting up the post into 10 posts talking about the same subject type of thing, right? Was a start.
You can do that type thing. But yeah, no, it's so you have to be like they want eyes. So if you're keeping them on the app, then they're gonna reward you.
So that is one of the top secrets there is, make posts, you put content on there that's going to keep your audience engaged for as long as possible.
And being consistent too, like posting pretty much 7 days a week.
7 days a week, wow.
I would post 7 days a week, but only like one post. Like some people think it's like Gary Vee. A lot of people bring up Gary Vee and he posting like 12 times a day on one platform, and it's like he can do that. A brand everyone else shouldn't do that.
No, exactly.
And you can see on like his posts, like when he posts in the morning, his engagement is high, and then when he posts later in the day, his engagement is lower.
So it's So I mean, you brought a good point. So as opposed to the do's, what are the don'ts of social media posting? Well, hashtags you said, or else.
Yeah, hashtags. Posting later in the day is definitely a huge. Like, don't do it. It's better to not post that day than post it. Trying to think of some other
like polls and things like that. Are those effective?
Yeah, like story polls and stuff like that. Like for stories, especially on Instagram, Facebook, and that, every post you do should have some type of sticker attached to it. So if it's a poll or if it's like questions or Q&A type stuff, or like. You want them to actually click, because that's what
more time engaged, right?
Yeah, and then that's what Instagram will look at and be like, okay, 500 people click yes or no, or whatever the question is, or whatever the sticker is. Then it's like, okay, we're gonna push this out to more of their following.
Yeah, so like let's just say that do you use an exercise mat for doing yoga? And most people say yes. Well, now Instagram will know to those people to advertise yoga mats essentially as part of the algorithm.
Yeah, in a way too. Yeah,
they want that data.
Yeah,
exactly. Too, right?
Yeah. So
that's great. How about any other don'ts on the social media?
Don'ts. I mean, other than the obvious of not posting on your brand guidelines and stuff like that. A lot of people are worried about the look and feel or like the theme of like what your pages look and stuff like that. And it's like pre-COVID, that was definitely huge.
Yeah.
Like a lot of, and that like having a theme didn't help you get more likes or comments, or like didn't help you in the algorithm or that, but having a theme, like a cleaner theme type thing. But Instagram now, they want you, using the carousel type stuff. So multiple images, then they want you to do a reel. Then they want you, maybe do 2 more reels and then do another carousel type thing. So they don't really care about the look and feel of that, as long as the quality of the content's good, and has like a purpose, and like a message, and like people can relate to it. Then that'll take you further than cookie cutter type.
Of course.
Yeah. Do you have any advice when you do brand deals? Like if any other entrepreneurs are looking to maybe hire an influencer or hire someone to do that. Do you have any advice on that? Just general do's and don'ts, or things that you want to get out of it?
The influencer side is pretty all over the place, the best way to put it, because every niche of influencers, have different pricing. It's not a set price for everyone.
Of course.
And so it all depends on your niche. But definitely look at the engagement. Engagement's huge, right? If someone has 50,000 followers, but they only get, 150 likes, it's not really worth it, right?
Not that efficient.
Yeah, don't look at like the follower amount, but like
we can pay for followers too, right?
You can pay for engagement too now, though. Too, it's tough. It's tough.
But does the algorithm catch that on Instagram if you're paying for
it'll say paid or
you can go further with someone with 5,000 followers that gets 500 likes.
Of course.
And they have more engaging audience type thing. So
perfect.
I think that's like probably the key to look for, especially in the influencer side.
Don't get carried away by the followers, but more of the engagement.
Obviously followers look good and and stuff like that, but like engagement is like probably huge. Like for example, my wife, she's in the influencer space.
Okay.
and she's got like 50,000 followers. She's verified on Instagram and all that type of stuff. But on average, she gets about 5,000 to 6,000 likes per post.
Oh wow.
So it's like
that's very high.
Yeah,
that's
like
a
that's
very
like
good engagement.
What is she influencing? What is
definitely
brand?
like the mommy niche type thing.
Okay.
Is like a lot of brands reach out for that. She's into like fashion as well, so she works with a lot of fashion brands as well.
Wow, good for her. Now, one thing I wanted to mention is you brought up TikTok earlier here. So they kind of had their large explosion, and now there seems that there's a lot of political, instability with the app. So would you caution users to avoid it, to still use it? And in your words, what would you be the most important platforms, or is it based on demographic to be posting on?
Definitely demographic, depending on what your audience is. But I definitely stay away from TikTok.
Yeah. Do you post on TikTok? No. You're just
No,
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Not even Twitter anymore. It's just mainly Instagram, and
Oh, wow.
I got a few big Facebook pages that I still do stuff on. So.
And what's the demographics? You're talking Facebook. Who is mostly on Facebook? Do you have a specific age demographic?
Yeah, it's usually like 30 plus
Yeah.
on Facebook. So obviously different audience type thing, but it depends on your product too, because like third world countries, like Philippines and like those type of countries out there, like Facebook's number one out there.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. Like if you have a product, a physical product, or even a service, like a digital service, and you're willing to sell it worldwide, like you can hit, like India, I think their biggest is WhatsApp and Facebook.
Yes. Well, it's all Meta, right?
Instagram is definitely, 20 plus.
Yeah.
TikTok is, the younger generation up to like 25.
Absolutely.
Other than me, I spend like 3-4 hours a day on there just constantly scrolling for no reason.
Yeah, well,
but
it's hard. It's hard. You get lost into the world TikTok. Now, now Twitter. You mentioned Twitter. Now, what I heard, and maybe this is not the truest information, but it's back on the rise slightly.
Definitely huge in the U.S. space. Not so much here. I used to have tons of Twitter pages and ended up selling them to a lot of brands and stuff like that. But I don't do too much on the Twitter world right now, especially a Canadian company. I wouldn't really worry about Twitter as well, unless if you're in like the tech space, Twitter or like crypto or any of that type of stuff. It's like that is more Twitter side. Younger generation right now is massive as Snapchat. Like Snapchat came back.
Wow,
It's massive.
Wow.
Like some of the biggest influencers in the TikTok have left TikTok and went to Snapchat.
Wow.
One of them is named Bryce Hall.
Yeah.
I don't know. You might not know him.
Yeah.
A little past your time type thing. But
what do you say about? I'm not that much older than you, man.
But Bryce Hall, for
Yeah.
example, he switched to Snapchat, and Snapchat has Snapchat shows.
Okay.
And he's pulling like Super Bowl views on like 300,000 to 500,000 views per post.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he's making crazy amount of money right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like,
what is he posting?
just like funny stuff
Stories,
about him.
yeah, like like David Dobrik kind of. Like
yeah.
Bryce is kind of like he's taken the spotlight from David Dobrik, and but like he's more innovative, he's more engaging.
Like I know how much I've been told how much Bryce Hall is making right now from Snapchat, just Snapchat paying him
Can you share that information?
after the podcast.
Yeah.
Can't share it.
Yeah.
But like I'm like, holy,
But
that's
yeah.
like insane.
Snapchat, because I remember I think even personally I fell out using it, and then I opened it recently a few and the whole entire app is different, and
Really?
like the
Yeah.
whole feed is different. Honestly, I don't even feel like people really use it so much engage with their friends anymore. I think that's more like the Be Real and like the Instagram stories private, and Snapchat is just so much advertising now. Even every single filter is an advertisement, every single one. So
Yeah, it's crazy because I mean, back when I was in university, Snapchat was big, but it was the same thing. You would send funny posts here and there, type of thing like that, but it was never there was no marketing or behind it. But now it seems like you said it's up on the rise again. So that being said, is there any other apps or platforms that are slowly starting to creep up and that you want to take advantage of getting on now before they're again getting too big that you don't have that opportunity?
It depends on what your brand is. Like you brought up Be Real, like that's
Yeah,
pretty cool app type thing.
I got caught with that with our interns last year. Is it the one that you take a picture?
They made Dan open a B-reel just so
Yeah.
they could we have our own little B-reel, Spark B-reel.
It was embarrassing, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, no, that app's like pretty good, and I think that's good for like an influencer side, but
Yeah.
like a brand or a business type thing, it's definitely not needed. I the best platform to be on is literally for a brand is Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably what I'd only focus on, and yeah.
Yeah. Do you see any, I mean, what do you think of this, like the metaverse type of thing? Like, do you touch anything like that? Do you touch any like VR content ever or?
No, not right now.
Okay.
It's a whole nother animal type thing. So it's
Yeah, I know it's a lot to learn.
yeah. So it's always changing. There's so much happening.
It's funny actually. I just saw yesterday there was a post from an AI that somehow got a verified blue check from Twitter and posted that there was an explosion at the Pentagon,
Oh wow.
and it got like millions and millions of followers. It's just an AI generated photo. There was nothing real about it too. So the whole AI is getting very dangerous.
All
and
the
scary.
AI generated content it's difficult. Do you use AI in
No,
tools?
no.
Okay,
No,
you're
no.
not diving into those tools.
No, not right
Yeah.
now. At least I'm
Yeah.
sure. Definitely eventually.
But I wonder if the platforms like Instagram will be able to determine if it's AI generated content or if it's not, right? Because that's a
hard.
whole game changer too, right? Because if you don't have to actually put the work, but AI can put the work for you, and you can sit back and just collect.
Someone else that's in like the social media world with me, he created a page around like Christianity type thing, and he has a whole like tool AI thing that literally just pulls content and creates it into posts and auto posts on the page, and
Social
wild.
media manager.
yeah, and it's like pretty cool, but obviously you're losing the social part of social media
Of
type
course,
thing. But he's loving it because he's posting 12 times a day, all through every 2 hours he's posting, and it's
AI doesn't need to sleep.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's exactly. So, before we wrap up, just because we're reaching the end of the show here, what's next for you? I mean, you're starting to sell off a lot of these usernames, like you said. You're starting to really focus in on family. So, what's next for you? Do you have any future ideas, or are you just going to kind of ride this roller coaster until it starts? Because I mean, eventually, just like the website, the .com boom, now social media is going to get saturated, so saturated that you're not going to be able to, it's going to be a lot more difficult to keep making a difference. So what's next for you?
I have a cool opportunity with like a big brand to like merge together. So they're in the .com space, and I have handles that match their .com, and they have like a lot of money.
Yeah.
So they're willing they want to merge together, and I think that's like a pretty cool opportunity that I have. I'm definitely gonna be. There's a few more social media pages that I'm looking, or like usernames that have been inactive for years that I'm
Building up.
well, I need to get access to them, and then eventually, hopefully, obtain them. And I've been lucky the last few years of selling some of these pages for into the six figures type dollars for like an Instagram page. So I'm hoping to do that a couple more times and get to that retirement side. I think what I've been looking into lately actually is I kind of want to own a sports team, and I know sports teams are very expensive.
Just partner with Ryan Reynolds on something.
It's funny. I've actually worked with like their team with some social media
Oh, no
stuff
way.
too. Yeah, but
Shout out to Ryan Reynolds. If you're listening.
I'll send it to a assistant, and hopefully he sees it.
Just
But,
forward this podcast to
What
him.
kind of, you like football? You like basketball, baseball, hockey?
I'm a big hockey, big soccer guy, so
You know
it'd be
what?
cool. Also, I have a daughter at home and another daughter on the way, so it'd be cool to
Same here, two
girl dads, right?
Yeah.
So like
let's open up a sports team together.
I
Come
would
on.
love to open up a female. Like I feel like female sports is like on a whole nother level right now, and it's
crazy how much.
and like
it's
I would
awesome.
love to like have a sports team,
Wow.
a female sports
in
team.
Niagara Falls.
I would 100%.
Why not, right?
Yeah, I think women's basketball too
Yes,
is very,
it's
very,
huge.
very big right now.
Yeah,
Let's do
I definitely
soccer, anything like that.
soccer. Yeah, I do soccer. I do women's hockey. Like women's hockey leagues starting to like really picked up too.
Yeah,
and,
everywhere.
like professional. But yeah,
Let
I
me
would
know.
love to
Let's
do
get,
that.
let's get a group of people. I obviously I won't be able to invest, but I can help manage it. That's that's my strength.
Yeah,
And the
so-
dad jokes too, which is always everybody always needs
that's
those.
key.
Okay. So do you see that as your way even to get back to Niagara? Like, do you want to even like local sports for young girls or?
Yeah, that's
cool.
I definitely would do that, especially in the Niagara region for sure. Ideally Niagara Falls, but
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely. No,
open to all,
Well,
depending,
the most
depending who's listening.
the most iconic city in the world here, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you open up a sports franchise here? I'm sure Mr. Jim Diodaddy, who watches this podcast all the time, I'm sure he'd be happy
I love that.
about that
Tell
too.
him I own Niagara Falls on Instagram.
So you do own it. I know that was the rumor. So you own at Niagara Falls.
Yeah. So you can buy it off me.
or trade. Maybe he builds a stadium.
Yeah, that'd be great too. We'll work something out.
That's awesome. Well, I just wanted to, I don't know, Emma, do you have any last questions?
Just if people do want to connect with you and reach out, or just like sit down and have a coffee with you if you're open to it. How do people connect with you?
Instagram is probably the best. Instagram or LinkedIn.
Do you have what's your not at Niagara Falls, obviously. But.
You can reach out there. I'll see it eventually.
We'll tag you. We'll collaborate on this on these
it's
reels.
Just Brandon Mimms on Instagram. There's a lot of people trying to be me.
Oh, no
literally,
way!
Copy me, but I'm the one with the verified blue check mark.
Okay.
So
at the real Brandon Mimms.
Yeah. So don't message any of these scammers out there.
Wow, that's awesome. And your company that you operate everything under? Do you have a
Yeah.
company?
So it's like mainly everything's under me, but the Northern 8 Group is like the main company over me, I guess.
The Northern 8?
Northern 8 Group.
And where did that name originate from?
Just thought of it with a group of buddies, and just kind of stuck. And
Very Canadian.
Yeah. So I don't even know where the number 8 came from.
What there wasn't 8 guys?
No, it was 3.
You're playing Crazy Eights or something like what?
No, I don't even know how it came up, but it worked and it was available, and locked it in.
And awesome. That's amazing. And Emma, where can people find this podcast on our socials?
So of course this is the Made in the Mist podcast, but our handle is, even our YouTube channel is Spark Innovation Canada. All of our Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn handles are Spark Innovation Canada. That's where you'll find us. And we recently just updated our playlist of the Made in the Mist on our YouTube, so check it out.
Awesome. And we want to thank you so much, Brandon, for being on our podcast. I know this is going to garner a lot of attention. A lot of people are interested in the social media space. So it's great that you were able to share some of these tips and tricks and the do's and the don'ts. So we really want to thank you. We want to thank you for, coming to the hub and being present here in Niagara Falls and really growing your business here in Niagara Falls. We need a lot more entrepreneurs and geniuses like you to really, help this city grow, especially in the innovation side of things too. So we really, really want to thank you. And be on the lookout for our next podcast. Should be coming out shortly. And again, like Emma said, find us on our social media handles. And then anything else you guys ever need. If you want to be on the podcast, you can always reach out to us on our social media channels as well. And we'll book you in. Thank you so much. And this is the Made in the Mist podcast. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Emma. And we'll catch you next time.